Hey, Route 66 travelers, we're on day 254 in our journey through the Bible. We'll be finishing up Ezekiel just in a few days. We have just a little bit more reading today, 4 chapters that we'll be reading today. Can I encourage you to do this? Don't read this alone. Find a spiritual mentor, someone that you can talk with when you have a question. I know some of you may contact me, and that's perfectly fine, but it's nice to have somebody that you can go to and say, hey, I read this verse. What does this mean? I had somebody call me just the other day, and they questioned about a passage, if it was referred to in the Old New Testament. And I actually said, no, it's not. It hasn't had anything to do with it. It's just very similar. And so it's kind of nice to have somebody that you can run some questions through. That's the best way to grow. Our Christian life was not meant to be run as a solo event. In fact, we were meant to go with each other and help each other, life on life. It's not just the words, it's the life. And so share this with somebody else. So let's quickly look through this. Yesterday we talked about this vision of a temple that is going to be built one day, and I believe it's going to be the millennial temple. However, we're going to find out here as we begin reading in these chapters. Chapter 42 deals a little bit more about this temple, the priestly chambers. There will still be priests there, and they will have places where they eat and change their garments, emphasizing their purity and their separation. They will have a job. I don't know if it's going to be Levitical, Levites, Israelites. I don't know how it's going to work. Probably will be Jewish people that will be in charge of that throughout the millennium. In chapter 43, God's glory returns. God's glory had left the temple, and now in Ezekiel's day, earlier in the chapters, now it comes back in the millennium. And partially because Jesus comes back, fills the temple, and God promises to dwell with his people forever. Ezekiel has shown the altar and its use, because there will still be an altar there. Sacrifices probably will be made there, because it will be made in memorial of the great sacrifice that Jesus Christ made on the cross. Chapter 42 lists some of the duties of the priests. The east gate is shut for the Lord entered by it, and only the faithful Zadokites priests may serve in the sanctuary. They must remain holy in their conduct and service, and so it's a special breed, a special family of priests that will serve there. And then in chapter 45, portions of the land are set aside for the sanctuary and the priests and the prince, which would be Jesus. And then instructions for the offerings and the feast are given. So 3 lessons that we can learn from this. Number 1, God's glory among his people is at the heart of true worship. The glory and praise of God. That's what worship is all about. Worship isn't about the style of music or even music at all. It's not about the aesthetics and the look and the feel, and even it's not even about us. It is the fact that God receives the praise and honor from us. We glorify him. That's what it's about. A second lesson, holiness matters in those who serve God. The priests were supposed to be holy. The leaders are supposed to be holy. The worshipers are supposed to be holy. What does holy mean? It does mean clean. It does mean to be pure. It does mean to be godly and to be good. But holy means to be separated to God. It means you belong to God. And when something was set apart to be used for God, that meant that it was holy. And we are holy people for God because we belong to him. And the third lesson, God provides order for everything. When God wants something to be done a certain way, he'll let us know. He provides for all those things, and he structures all this for his worship. Worship is not just a, hey, let's come together and let it fly. That's not it. That's why in our church, we have an order of service. We sing particular songs, and there's a reason why we do that. And even my sermons are not just opening up the Bible and let's see what God has for us. Okay, we're going to read this one. No, it's something that I've prayed about, and I've studied it, and I deliver it, because we believe that the worship of God and the worship of God's people should be orderly, should be structured, and should be there to help all of us worship God the best we can, because he is worth the best that we have. So got a few chapters to read today, so I hope you enjoy it. God bless you as you read.